Third with another Beast from Beyond video. Today I have part 2 of my main Easter egg guide, completing the boss fight. This is a very tough boss fight. Setup is key as always, but with this boss battle, a few tips and tricks will easily get anyone through this fight, even in solo. The boss battle for Beast from Beyond is made up of 6 phases. In the first phase, one by one, a laser will open crates in the center area, releasing rhinos. If you take too long, you can be facing more than one, as the second and third crates are open, so be quick about it. I will go over which guns are best for the rhinos and mammoths in the setup portion coming up next. Once the final rhino is killed, the doors will open to the portals south of how you spawn in. The second phase begins as soon as the portals light up and become active. For this phase, you will need to kill off a wave of scout cryptids. Easy enough. Once the scouts are gone, the third phase, a wave of scouts and phantoms, will begin. These enemies will spawn out of the portals on the north side of the room. Then, for phase 4, you will need to face unlimited scouts and phantoms, as well as 2 rhinos until 3 terminals light up on the perimeter of the map. You will need to deactivate all 3 terminals, and then finish off the remaining enemies to complete this phase. For phase 5, you will need to survive for approximately 2.5 minutes until a timer counts down in the center of the room. During this time, an unlimited amount of cryptids, phantoms, and rhinos will spawn on indefinitely until the countdown is done and the button is pressed. Once the button is successfully hit, all enemies in the room will die and you are on to the final phase. For the 6th phase, you will face 2 mammoths, which will release permanent fire onto the ground when critically damaged. You will need to defeat both mammoths while avoiding the fire, their lethal attacks, and the regular spawning of 3 to 4 scouts. Once one mammoth is down, the intermittent portals will also let loose a phantom with the scouts. When you defeat the final mammoth, the final soul key is yours, and if you have all the other soul keys, you can activate Director's Cut in this or any subsequent game in the projector room. There are many great cards to help you out for this tough boss battle. The hardest part of this battle for me is phase 5, the countdown. The spawns are chaotic and tend to cut you off at unavoidable tight corridors you will not be able to get through while running a loop. This makes defensive cards like Hide and Seek, Explosive Touch, Twist of Fate, Stimulus, and Evade incredible for this part. By far, the easiest strategy requires you have the best variant in the game, the Mauler Sentinel. If you do not have this weapon but have the salvage for it, I highly recommend it. It has the most raw power out of any gun and can make a lot of the tough boss battles a breeze. If you mix this gun with the card Head Reloaded, you can effectively camp out the entire first 5 phases of this boss fight, which I will go over entirely after the setup. Other cards that can help are Perk Insured or Skull Hacker, as well as Reanimated, especially since a glitch currently exists in this boss battle that does not allow you to re-get up in atoms when you have an active Perkaholic. Activate when used cards like Perk Insured, Skull Hacker, and Reanimated early on to maximize Fate and Fortune Juice. When activating cards like Evade or Head Reloaded that last until the end of a round, try and activate them at the beginning of the round you are ready to go into the battle, that way you can have a second at the ready once the round is up and you are about to go in. For this fight, you will need 2 kinds of weapons, a brute power weapon for taking out the rhinos and mammoths as quickly as possible, as well as a panic gun to clear your path while running for your life. The cryptids are much faster, and this battle will be largely defensive in strategy, similar to Extinction Mode itself. When running, you will want to have an explosive weapon to clear your way through tight corridors. Kendall's, the Howitzer, the Spartan, and the Venom X will all work for this, but your best option is the Kendall's. Running a weapon with haste, especially the Titan Warden, in your Mule Kick slot for speed boost can also be super beneficial. As far as killing the rhinos and mammoth goes, you want high damage per second weapons, just like against the Rat King on Shaolin. You have an ammo box in a crate in the center of the room, so ammo shouldn't really be an issue for once in this fight as long as you can safely get there. By far, the best weapon for this battle is the Mauler Sentinel. If you do not have this variant or don't want to waste a bunch of time on the box, there are a few other weapons that will do well against the heavily armored enemies. The next quickest gun is the FHR. Just like against the Rat King, this thing is a beast. Another great weapon for quick rhino and mammoth kills is the new LMG, the Atlas. Pair this with extended mags to make up for the smaller clip. The VPR, a wall weapon on Beast, is also quite good and can be a great option if you scored a Kendall or other explosive weapon early and want to give the Easter egg a quick shot. A lot of people complain about needing certain guns, but I've found if you're flexible, it's not too much of an issue, and the fact that the enemies in the boss battle seem to have a fixed health cap regardless of round leads me to usually just wait for my trusty Sentinel, considering how easy it makes this tough boss battle. My best case scenario is Mauler Sentinel, Kendalls in my primary slots, and the Titan Warden in my Mule Kick slot for the huge speed bonus. For camping to get your points up and get your guns right, I suggest using C4 to hold up either outside by the closed door to the terminal room or in the theater area by the closed door to the east alley. For perks, I recommend running Tough Enough, Bang Bangs, Dead Shot, Racing Stripes, Quickies, and Up and Atoms in solo. Change Choose unfortunately has no effect on cryptids. Once you are all set up and have double packed weapons, to begin the battle simply interact with the computer in the projector room. This will transport you into the center area and begin phase 1. The laser will slide into place above you and shoot either this crate or this crate, revealing your first rhino. Aim down sights near the center and activate your Deadshot damage boost. When the crate is shot open, aim for the head plate and stand your ground. If you have one of the weapons I mentioned, he will go down before he can even charge. If he is able to charge, sidestep to either side and unload into him as he regroups. He should go down before he is able to charge again. The next crate to open will be the only one left of the two marked before. Eliminate that rhino and the laser will focus on the opposite side, opening one of these two. Eliminate the other rhinos and phase 1 will be complete. The south side of the room will now open and phase 2 will begin shortly. In the next phase, you have two options. If you have a decent explosive weapon, you can take the easy route and camp here in this nook. The Kendalls and Venom Z work wonders in this spot. Take advantage of the pod drops from the scouts when using the Venom, noting that when you pick it up while reloading, it will grant you 2 bullets instead of the normal 1, just like an extinction. With the Akimbo Kendalls, use 1 pistol at a time to never be without ammo. When reloading one, cover yourself with the other. If you want to just use your LMG or high damage AR or SMG, stay back and keep your back to the north wall. Take advantage of your Deadshot damage boost and take them out as they come through and over the crates ahead. When they stop spawning through the portals, gear up for phase 3. After the scout phase, you will face another simple kill 'em all phase, this time with phantoms as well as scouts. They will spawn, this time from the north side portals, but with the opening of the north side crates, you can now access a glorious camping spot, the ramp. This ramp that takes you up to the catwalk holding the perk candy is an integral part of my strategy. With the Mauler Sentinel and head reloaded, you can literally camp here for the better part of the next 3 phases, including the largest pain in the ass of this battle, phase 5. Even without the Sentinel, you can easily camp out phase 3 and most of phase 4 using your explosive weapon. Simply aim at the bottom of the ramp with your Kendall, Venom Z, Howitzer, or Spartan and kill all the scouts and phantoms that grew up in the choke point. With the Mauler, use your Deadshot boost and obliterate everything easily. When the scouts and phantoms stop spawning, you will know you are through phase 3. There is a nice pause here, so if you want to place any of the sentries or grab ammo from the crate, now is the time. Beware, picking them up can be finicky and they are certainly not worth dying over. The next phase will start spawning in scouts and phantoms as well as the laser firing at you. You will be safe from the laser camping inside the enclosed ramp. When you hear your character call out another rhino, switch to your high damage ballistic weapon and focus your fire. You should have the room at your 6 to kill it before you have to jump off. Shortly after the rhino is announced, you will hear your character mention the terminals. Drop down and take a right here. Have your panic weapon out as you round this corner. It is a sketchy one as there are active portals straight ahead on your left. The first out of the 3 terminals you need to turn off is on your left near the corner. Activate that and head up the ramp, which is sketchy spot number 2. Watch for cryptids blocking your path on the ramp and jumping up to stop you from the portals on the other side. The next terminal is on the left after you drop down. If you're having trouble getting to the terminals, you can pop one of your defensive fortune cards such as hide and seek or explosive touch to get you there. The last terminal is where all the cryptids tend to catch up to you and can be tricky to get away from after you turn it off. Once they are all off, kill your remaining cryptids from the ramp opposite the last terminal and phase 4 is complete. This is where the fun really begins. In phase 5 you will need to survive an onslaught of all enemies so far, rhinos, scouts, and phantoms. A lot more will spawn and they will spawn in indefinitely. You have one of 2 options here. The first option is to run a large clockwise circle using the ramps and staying out of the middle area. The key here is killing as little as possible as to control the spawns. The more you kill, the more sporadically they will spawn, so just stick to killing only when clearing your path. The rhinos will mostly be trapped in the center area. Be careful at the 2 danger spots coming around the corner here and on the ramp to the phase 1 explosives camping spot. Check on the timer after you feel like 2.5 minutes is up. If in solo, you can even pause and set a timer on your phone. This can be a great time to activate your hide and seek, explosive touch, and other defensive cards. You're almost through this thing. If playing co-op, having multiple players stack hide and seek cards and consecutively activate them can make this step a lot easier. The second option is contingent on you having the Mauler Sentinel with the fortune card head reloaded active. If you do, you can effectively camp this entire phase out on the ramp to the perk catwalk, your ammo constantly topped off because of the occasional scout headshot. You can back all the way up to the wall at your 6 to take out the rhinos. When you are about out of ammo, pop a hide and seek card or other defensive card and drop into the middle, going straight to the terminal to check if it's done. When it is done counting down and ready to activate, it will look like this. If it is not, grab more ammo from the crate and head back to the camping spot to wait out the timer. You may want to loop around to the center the long way to make sure you don't get cut off before you can press the button, but as soon as you do, everything will be killed off and you're on to the final phase. For the final phase, you will face 2 mammoths. These guys have an insane amount of health in this boss battle, even in solo, and when they take enough damage, they will drop fire on the ground that never goes away. This fire will deal out 1 hit of damage per second you stand in it, and combined with the lethal attack of the mammoth, this can be enough to seem like an insta-down. The mammoth can charge you very quickly if you are in a direct line of sight for too long, so make good use of the corners. Periodically, the portals will open and spawn in 3 to 4 scouts as well. Take them out as quickly as possible. The safest route for this is up the perk ramp and along the catwalk, making sure they both jump up behind you. If one does not jump up, it will likely try and cut you off on the other side. Time your jump down for when it is about to jump up if this happens. Drop down and run to this crate and ADS to activate your deadshot damage bonus. This is your main firing vantage point with this strategy, as the fire will bunch up here and easily be able to jump over it onto the clear path through the open crate. Fire into them as much as possible and run quickly to the next vantage point here as to not get charged. If you're quick enough, a lot of the times they will both come through this crate on the right and you can lay into them both here. If not, one will, and the one in the lead will come down the middle. Get out of there before the leading mammoth is able to see you and go back up to the perk ramp and back up to the catwalk to repeat the process. The fastest route for killing them is dropping down like we did on the terminal phase and going around the corner to the other ramp. This gives you a lot of room to play with, but the fire can fill up this area very quickly, and the corner and other ramp are danger zones, as I have mentioned. When you finally are able to kill one mammoth, a phantom will join the random scouts that spawn in, making those periodic spawns even more dangerous. When you take out the final mammoth, the cutscene will play. You will get the achievement The End for collecting the final soul key. If this is the last Easter egg you needed to complete, you can also now go into the projector room in this or any subsequent game and activate Director's Cut mode. A guide to everything this does is coming up on screen now. But that about wraps up this guide. Stay tuned for more COD Zombies videos every week. Subs and likes are appreciated. Peace!